Tokyo Dome, 2026. 50,000 people are on their feet. A Korean idol group is performing, and the crowd is singing along. But not in Japanese, not in English. They're singing in Korean, a song most of them learned as children. A folk melody over 1,000 years old. The song is called Arirang. And if you don't know why that matters, you need to hear what happened exactly 100 years ago. October 1926. Seoul, Korea. A silent film opens at Dansongsa Theatre. The country has been under Japanese colonial rule for 16 years. People cannot speak freely. They cannot gather without permission. They cannot even sing certain songs. The film is called Arirang, and almost nobody today knows the name of the man who made it. His name was Na Woon-gyu. Before he was a filmmaker, he was a resistance fighter. Na Woon-gyu was born in 1902 in the northern city of Arirang. He grew up watching his country disappear. In his teens, he crossed the border into Manchuria. There, he made contact with Korean independence militias. Records show that by his early 20s, he was operating under the command of General Hong Bum-do, one of the most feared guerrilla commanders of the Korean resistance. This was a young man who carried a rifle. But that chapter didn't last long. He was arrested by Japanese authorities, implicated in a plot to bomb a railway tunnel. He was sent to Chongjin prison. He served 1 year and 6 months. He walked out at 21 years old. And nothing had changed. Korea was still occupied. The surveillance was tighter than before. He couldn't pick up a rifle again. So he picked up a camera instead. Na Woon-gyu entered the film industry in 1924, first as an actor. But acting wasn't enough. Within 2 years, he decided to make his own film. He wrote it, he adapted it, he directed it, he starred in it. He was 24 years old. That film was Arirang. Now here is where the story gets strange. No one alive today has seen this film. Not a single frame of footage survives. What remains, 1 screenplay, 5 production photographs. That's it. A film that nobody can watch anymore, and yet nobody has forgotten. So what happened inside that theater in 1926? By all accounts, the audience wept through the entire screening, and when it ended, without any signal, without any plan, they began to sing, Arirang. They walked out of the theater still singing. The song spread through the streets of Seoul for days, then weeks. Na Woon-gyu's colleague, actor Yoon Bong-chun, later wrote, Arirang was the second March 1st movement. The hero, pretending to be mad, waved a sickle instead of a flag, sang Arirang instead of the national anthem. The narrator wept, the audience wept, and that weeping was directly connected to the cry of "Long live Korea." A resistance fighter had made a film with no weapons, no army, no independence, and somehow it moved a nation. How? The answer wasn't in the images on the screen. It was in the song. The Japanese colonial government was watching very carefully. The same month the film opened, the Government General of Korea moved fast. 10,000 promotional materials, confiscated. The reason given? Likely to disturb public order. Then came the record controls. Arirang recordings already in circulation were forcibly collected. People were arrested for singing it in the streets. But here is the question that haunts this story. Read the lyrics of Arirang. Arirang, Arirang, Arario, crossing over the Arirang Pass. There is no word about independence, no call to arms, no political message. So why was the colonial government afraid of a folk song? Internal reports from the Government General give us the answer. This melody unifies the Korean people. The danger is not in the words. The danger is in the tune itself. Without a single spoken word, it can unite tens of thousands of people. The Japanese Empire had suppressed uprisings, protests, and armed resistance, but this was something different. A melody they could not arrest, a song they could not shoot. In 1933, they tried legislation. The colonial government passed a law, the Regulations on the Control of Phonograph Records. The first song it targeted, the first song ever banned by law on the Korean peninsula, Arirang. They still didn't understand. You cannot legislate a song out of existence. Na Woon-gyu died young at 36. And after his death, the film Arirang vanished with him, lost in the chaos of the Korean War. For decades, no one knew where the footage was. Then, in the early 1990s, a bombshell announcement from Japan. A film collector in Osaka made a public claim, "I have the Arirang film." His name was Abe Yoshinike. He was known for holding a collection of over 50,000 films. His father had worked in colonial Korea as a contract physician for the Japanese police. The father had financed Korean film productions, and when debts went unpaid, he took the films as collateral. Those reels passed to his son. Korea came calling immediately. Na Woon-gyu's son, film scholars, civil organizations, journalists. One delegation after another flew to Osaka. Even North Korea sent representatives through the pro-Pyongyang Chongryon organization, offering a Sony video editing system worth 10 million yen in exchange for the film. Every request was refused. And Abe's answers kept changing. If President Kim personally asks the Japanese emperor, I might return it. Return it after Korean reunification. I'll give it back after I die. Did he actually have it? Or was this all an elaborate deception? For decades, no one could answer that question. In 2005, Abe Yoshinige died, with no heirs. His entire collection was transferred to the National Film Archive of Japan. Korean researchers rushed to Tokyo. They went through every record, every catalog entry, every reel. Arirang was not there. Not a single Korean film was found. Kim Yeon-gap of the Korean Arirang Federation put it plainly. If the film truly doesn't exist, then we were deceived for decades. But the possibility remains that Abe hid it away before his death. Is the film of Arirang still out there, hidden somewhere, waiting to be found? Or did it never survive at all? 100 years later, no one knows. And yet, Arirang did not disappear. Every attempt to erase it made it stronger. People rewrote the lyrics. On the surface, a love song, a man and a woman, a mountain pass, a farewell. But among themselves, they knew what it meant. In front of Japanese police, they sang it casually, looking away. Alone together, they sang it with everything they had. A folk song had become a resistance code. And it traveled to Manchuria, to the Russian Far East, to wherever Koreans had been scattered by colonization and war. Wherever they gathered, Arirang was how they recognized each other, an invisible signal, a thread connecting people who had lost almost everything else. The harder the empire pressed, the deeper the song took root. Back to Tokyo Dome, 2026. 100 years ago, the Japanese colonial government confiscated posters, banned records, and arrested people for singing this song. Today, in that same country, 50,000 Japanese fans are singing it by choice. History sometimes ends this way. The thing an empire feared most outlives the empire itself. Na Woon-gyu died in 1938. 55 years later, in 1993, the Korean government posthumously awarded him the Order of Merit for National Foundation. He rests today at the Daejeon National Cemetery. A man who once carried a rifle for independence, who then chose a camera instead and created the one thing the most powerful empire in Asia could not destroy. That was Na Woon-gyu. But the story of Arirang doesn't end here. In 1916, before the colonial government even thought to ban it, this song was already thousands of miles away. In a prisoner of war camp in Germany, it was being recorded onto an Edison phonograph cylinder. How did it get there? And where is that recording now? The story of the song no one could silence continues next time. This has been Hidden Kingdom Files.